very conservative.
I don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't swear.
My family is very strict.
We have rules in our home that our children must obey.
This whole thing that we are doing was never meant to disown him. Ian wants to do things his own way. You can do what you want to do, but it's not here.
My parents think that I am using them. They see me as their deadbeat son that can't find a job. I don't think they give me enough credit.
Well, we're talking to 22-year-old Ian, whose parents, Rachel and Tino, predicted would be a huge success when he headed off to college with a basketball scholarship, having graduated with all A's in honors classes from high school. So where did things get off track from what they had as a vision for their son?
Ian's behavior has been very odd.
He's just said some very off-the-wall things.
Ian accused my husband and I of doing drugs. Ian accused my husband and I of poking him with needles. The most shocking thing that Ian has done, he texted one of his friends that my husband and I were raping him.
I know it sounds very far-fetched, but I have accused them of raping me. I do wake up sometimes with needle marks on my arms.
When he said that, complete astonishment is what came through my mind.
That was just preposterous. I have no idea where he would even come up with that.
I am gang-related, so I know what drugs do to you. I don't know, it's difficult to, like, explain.
I think that Ian has a mental illness, very possibly has schizophrenia.
I think that it's out of their hands now. I think that I'm in the system, and it's a system that is designed to fail. It's a trap. Young black males are either dead or in jail.
Having to deal with all of this is a nightmare. It's so bizarre. I don't know what to believe anymore.
You said that your parents drugged you and raped you.
Like I said, it is very far-fetched. So as far as the accusation, I'll own it in saying that, yes, I have.
You have what?
I have accused them of doing so.
Ian, how can you possibly accuse us of doing that to you?
That's a serious allegation. If it's true, it could and should ruin their lives. It's either a serious allegation or it's definitely slander, one of the two. There's no middle ground here.
Absolutely.
So you truly believe that this is a possibility?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And what's your basis for believing that it could have happened? What do you point to? You said you found needle marks?
I have.
Where were the needle marks?
On my abdomen, on my forearms. I've had a few, like, right on my artery, like right here, like.
Did you get photo evidence of that? Did you have them?
Well, I wasn't aware that we were going to be talking about this, but no, I didn't.
Do you have needle marks today?
If I do, I'm not looking for them anymore. You guys have pretty much ruled it out and made me look stupid for even accusing you, so.
I mean, if you seriously think that you got raped, you should be seeing a psychologist. You should be seeing a doctor and saying, hey, you know what? I think this is happening. Check me out.
And I have. I did take a mental health evaluation, and it did come back negative.
Well, I didn't know they could be positive or negative.
Truthfully. However,
but
I did take.
You say that they may have raped you, drugged you, and raped you.
They may have.
Has anyone else ever perpetrated this on you?
No.
Ian, remember when you told me that happened at college as well? Then why did you just tell him that didn't happen?
Because I'm trying to prove a point here. That you guys changed your story on everything.
Did you tell them you'd been raped in college?
As a man, I believe that it is something that you should try and overcome. Like I said, I am gang-related. I'm not going to get into it on TV. I have been around the life. I've been around drugs.
But you're in a gang?
Yes, I have been in a gang.
Okay. And did you tell your mother that you had raped others?
I've told them that I've participated in initiation.
I have a really definitive question that I think is going to maybe clear a lot of things up here. I'm going to ask Ian right after the break. We'll be right back. Do you believe that you have suffered an injustice at the hands of these two people that put you, as you describe it, a young black man into the system and therefore have sealed your fate in this life?
I'm not going to say that it sealed my fate. I think that at this point it's out of their hands, like there's really nothing they can do about it, and I do blame them for it.
Do you believe that when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences?
I say that when you choose it, you have to own it.
When they did what they did, they chose to put you out using the law, then they got to own the result. And the result is you resent the hell out of them for that, do you not?
I don't know if resentment's the right word. I'd call it sadness. I'm sad that they would do that to their own child.
Did you choose that by violating the rules of the house? Did you choose that by smoking dope in their home?
I don't think marijuana is dope. You're probably a little funkier than me, like you're a little older, you've been in the 70s, so it was dope back then.
Let me tell you, don't let this suit fool you, because I only wear it for the camera. And I've been homeless just like you, but it wasn't because my parents put me out of the house. It's because there wasn't a house to be put out of. And it doesn't matter whether it's smoking dope or chewing gum. If it's the rules of the house and they say you can't do that here, and you choose to do that there, then they have a right to put you out. Now, let me ask something. Are there times that you get really confused?
Not really, no.
Are there times that you're talking to yourself or someone else and you're not situationally aware?
I'll own that, yeah. I do. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
I'm not passing judgment. I'm just asking about facts.
As far as someone telling me that how I handle my brain is wrong, like, who are you to say that? Especially when I know for a fact that I'm smarter than the man that has been saying this, like, and most geniuses are crazy, like, you know that, right? A lot of geniuses are drug addicts too.
Do you ever consider yourself suspicious, defensive, or paranoid?
Absolutely, defensive beyond all recognition, because I've never been able to verbally defend myself against my parents.
Do you think it was jumping to a conclusion when I asked you if you were sometimes disoriented and you responded defensively and suspiciously and in a paranoid fashion?
Is that what you're accusing me of?
I'm asking you if... Because you responded by saying, you know, you're going to tell me what to do with my brain. You're not going to say... All I ask is if you sometimes were disoriented.
No.
Okay. What would you consider your biggest achievement so far in your life?
My degree, probably.
What would you consider your biggest failure?
Never thought I'd go to jail.
And what is your biggest fear?
That I'll never be able to see my sisters again.
Well, Rachel wanted Ian to take a drug test, and he agreed. The results after the break.
tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil exclusive.
An alleged bully went after a visually impaired student.
The blind student
Why were you being hit?
rescued by a classmate.
You saved my life.
That's tomorrow.
Rachel very much wanted Ian to take a drug test. Because your theory is he might be on something like weird.
I don't know.
You don't know. You're looking for something to explain this.
Yeah, I want some answers as to why he continues down this path that is bizarre.
Are you on some kind of drugs?
Nothing that can't be prescribed by a doctor.
Like what?
Marijuana.
What else?
Truthfully, like, I don't see the big deal in experimenting with drugs. Like,
But you've experimented with what?
I've dove into meth. I've done many prescription pills. That's actually the first thing I experimented with. I've done acid, all while with my very close friends.
Well, as long as you got some friends around. Bottom line, he tested negative for everything illicit except for marijuana. So I'd like to add to the conversation Dr. Frank Lawless. Dr. Frank Lawless is the chairman of the Dr. Phil Show Advisory Board. He's the co-founder of the Lawless PMP Center in Dallas. Dr. Lawless has also written the book, Not My Child. Dr. Lawless, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Ian says he's experimented with a lot of drugs, which can have an impact on his brain, of course, but he says he's a regular user of marijuana now, which is legal in his state.
Well, first of all, Ian is at a very critical, vulnerable time in his life where his brain is going through a pruning, which makes him very vulnerable to any kind of any kind of issue that has to do with judgment. Now, put on top of that, this marijuana, the THC is kind of sticky, and it creates a stickiness between your neurons. And so what happens is that it limits your judgment, plus other kinds of cognitive abilities, so that your thinking becomes circular.
And is motivation one of the things that's affected?
Absolutely. You get a lower motivation, and you get also increased depression and some level of paranoia.
Can you see major shifts in personality?
Well, what you often see is this lack of empathy.
What Dr. Lawless is talking about is when the brain is in this pruning phase, particularly for some people, that with marijuana use, not even regular or heavy marijuana use, it can create real neurological disruption. And if it continues through the pruning process, where it gets to the static phase, usually at age 25, then that damage becomes irreparable, correct?
That's correct.
And at this point, all we know is that, Ian, you have started to live your life differently, and I'm not saying that the reasons are one-dimensional, but you've said, my life isn't working. A really good theory is that you're having a bad reaction to the marijuana use at a neurological level in terms of reasoning, in terms of motivation, in terms of emotionality. But it's something that, based on research, you have to consider.
You two are the doctors, and I will consider it.
Your situation is not because they got a TRO to get you out of the house. You are where you are because of the choices you've made. The point is, this is your life. You're the one who needs to put it the way you want it. And it's not where you want it at this point. So I'm just saying I'm willing to help you if you want some help. Dr. Lawless is head of the PNP Center in Dallas, Texas. It is, in my opinion, the top diagnostic and treatment center in the country. They evaluate people biochemically, neurologically, psychologically, medically, in every way. I'm happy to fly you there at our expense. Dr. Lawless has agreed to work you up, do a complete evaluation neurologically, find out what is going on, and see if, in fact, this is having an effect, and give you a complete plan to see where you are and come up with a plan to get you what you want in your life. They don't go, well, this is all, you're an adult, this is all between you and them. It's private between you and Dr. Lawless, and I think that's a great place to start. After that, I'm happy to get you a life coach, anything, whatever. I'm happy to help you find a job. I'm happy to do whatever is necessary to connect you in a way that you can get some traction and start getting some joy in your life. And I'm offering to do that if you want that help.
I would appreciate it. I'm a little embarrassed. Like I said, I'm not used to like taking handouts, and truthfully, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for these people in front of me. However, if it means progress, I'll do it.
Yeah. I've got two sons, and one of them's about your age, and I would hope if he was off somewhere and was in a similar situation, I would pray to God above that somebody would step up and help him out if he needed it. Yeah. And I'm doing with you what I hope somebody would do with him if he was in a similar situation. And like I say, I'm not doing it to you, I'm doing it with you. Yeah. You know, let me be a friend here. Let me help you out, okay?
Appreciate it.
Next, a young woman with devastating news that she thought could find her out of work and struggling.